Welcome. In this episode, we will talk about the passport process. As you know, for the men that are on child support, removal of your passport, what they call the revocation of your passport for non-payment, is one of the enforcement tools. So in this episode, we're going to talk about what is the process for the passport, as well as how to get it back. We will also conclude a discussion on non-citizen state national. So the passport denial or revocation process is found under 42 USC 652 Section K. And basically, it was implemented such that if you owe more than $2,500 on your child support, they will take your passport. And that they built that into the law back in 1996. And the case law that covers that is Weinstein versus Albrecht in 2001 and Department of Revenue versus Nesbitt. In addition, the administrative process for the complaint when your passport is taken is procedure 45 CFR 303.35. And the policy is this: each state must have in place an administrative complaint procedure that will allow an individual the opportunity to put forward a case as to why their passport should not be denied, as well as a hearing must be put in place, which is those are the rules by which this conduct this administrative complaint procedure. Now, many of you, as you call into child support, they'll tell you, oh, we're not in charge of that, or we're not sure how this is done. That is incorrect. This is a requirement, 45 CFR 303.35. Now, we've talked about this in the past in terms of a video called Give Back My License. Both the DMV license process and the denial of passport process are similar, but it's handled, by a different department. And we will cover that in this presentation. Now, we've covered the passport issue in terms of a video, Give Back My Passport. Please feel free to preview that video. But this is a follow-on that goes further into explaining the process. Also, we did a video called Sovereign Citizen and Moorish Movement. Please feel free to check that video out as well. And in this episode, we are not going to cover what is called the assumed name process or the certification name process. Please feel free to comment, but we're not going to cover that in this video. So let's start off with the passport process. Now, many of you are familiar with the non-citizen and all this. Again, this video is not about any particular controversy surrounding state national or whether it exists or doesn't exist. What I'm walking you through is if you have your passport taken away from you, you need to understand the details of the process as well as the steps you need to take to get your passport returned to you, whether or not you're a citizen or a non-citizen. I only wanted to include that to show that the process are similar. So here we have what is called the passport application. Many of you are familiar with it. It's called the DS-11 form. Again, this is the passport application everyone fills out. So let's take a closer look at the passport. In section 4, where it says place of birth, but in section 5, it outlines what the requirements are for the completion of this document. As you can see here, it says if you do not have a social security number, then you must enter zeros. But I've reached out to various agencies. They're saying if there isn't a social security number, you'll be demanded or asked to put one in. But, of course, you can work around that, putting in what's called a declarative statement. Now, the purpose of reviewing this DS-11 form is such that regardless of what your status is, and many people have this, well, if you have this particular status, you don't pay child support. If you're a non-citizen, it doesn't cover you. That's not the purpose of this video. This video is to walk you through and give you an understanding of the passport process, how it works, and how to get it returned. Here's something else. If you notice at the bottom of the statement, it says, all matters are referred to the Internal Revenue Service or the IRS. So in other words, the passport process is an IRS process, not a court procedure, not a State Department procedure. It is an IRS process, and it says so directly on the form. Please comment if you knew this or if you did not know that. Now, while we're talking about the Internal Revenue Service, this is a good time to talk about your credit report. As you know, we're starting a series where to fix your financial life. As you get out of child support, you need to fix your finances as well as get on the road to building wealth. And it starts off with a good, clean credit report. So preview that video, as well as you can find more information on our website. Hello, my name is Chris. And in this session, we are reviewing the controversial process called the passport, and as well as what are the processes involved and how you can get your passport returned to you. As always, you can send us comments, questions to our email, chrish289@protonmail.com. But we also ask for donations. We have PayPal and we have Cash.app. We ask for a $25 gift, but we will take any amount. Again, we'll even take a $5 Cash.app. Again, this helps, supports the channel. It supports the research that we conduct so we can bring you the information. Also, you can get our information from our podcast. That is Child Support Made Simple on Apple, Spotify, and Amazon. So let's look at the passport procedure. The passport process is found in what's called Public Law 104-193, as well as 22 CFR Part 51. And here's the Federal Registry of Part 51. This is where you get the information regarding the passport. If this is your first time here or you've been here before, please feel free to subscribe to our channel. It really helps us tremendously. So let's take a section of the public law. Revocation or limitation of passports is found under 22 CFR 51.62. And it reads, the department may revoke passport when the department has determined that the bearer of the passport is not a U.S. national, or the department is on notice that the bearer does not have a certificate of citizenship or a certificate of naturalization. Again, comment below. I'm just reading you what the statute actually says. The passport, Section 2, the passport was illegally, fraudulently, or erroneously obtained and was created through an illegal or fraud practices upon the department. Now, in regards to state national, again, this video is not going to discuss what that process is, whether it's real or not. I'm just letting you what the statute says regarding that process, and that it is similar to any process dealing with the passport. And here's critical. Section 3. If for any reason that the department, State Department that is, feel that you've misused the passport for anything other than what it's designated for, it can be revoked. And this is important. Many people talk about what you can or cannot do as a state national. Well, be careful of this section. If it's misused, you can lose your passport. So, to continue with this video, what it is that the passport revocation process is an IRS tax offset program. Yes, it is an IRS tax offset program. And that started as a result of child support submitting your name to the Department of State. So here is the technical guide to the federal offset program. If you'd like a copy of this, feel free to email us. We'd be happy to send it to you. But overall, we're going to cover the key points within this document. So in the denial process, it talks about the removal. That is, how his child support agency is able to remove it or remove your passport? Well, one thing they did was there's a threshold level. If you owe more than $2,500 in arrears, then Child Support Agency will suggest that the State Department remove your passport. Another thing they put in here, that the only way to get your passport back is working with the Child Support Agency. Well, that's not quite true, and we're going to cover that here. So here is, again, the same section, Section 51. It says, in order to get your passport, you need to satisfy the debt. Again, it just says satisfy the debt. Well, what debt are they referring to? Is child support a debt? Again, give me a comment below what you think if child support's a debt. But this is the requirement. So let's take a look at it. So in the offset section, as we said, the passport removal process is an IRS function. In section 7345, it's called the revocation and denial of passport. It says that the state, the Secretary of State, may, for any reason, limit passport through what is called the FAST Act. Again, the Secretary is using what is called the FAST Act to remove or deny your passport. And so that is why if you want your passport back, you need to understand this process, the denial process under 26 USC 7345, as well as the tax delinquency. So in other words, they are treating your passport not as if it's a child support process, but it's actually a tax debt. So if you want further discussion on this whole tax debt issue and the passport process, understand this. Your passport denial process is considered part of what is called the offset program. And if you understand the offset program, then you can get your passport back. Whether or not you're, as people like to say, you're a U.S. citizen or non-U.S. citizen or state national, I've shown you here. It doesn't matter what that status is. It falls under the same program called the offset debt process. Now, we have information on our website regarding additional information, and then that is located at childsupport.newzenler.com. So here we are at the end of the presentation. If you have questions or comments, please feel free to email us, as well as please subscribe to our channel. We always are looking for new subscribers, again, to spread the information, to send the information out to everyone, both that are on child support and who are not on child support, so we have the facts in the public. We also ask for gifts, donations. That's what helps us to bring you this information, as well as research. So here we are at the end, and thanks for tuning in today.